Is it time to create something different with your life and your body? Right Body for You will inspire you and invite you to a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Ready? Let's go. Here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Thank you for joining me now in the past, in the present, or the future. I do know that people listen at various times. Even, yes, I firmly know that it is possible that some of you have already listened to this show. So, if you liked it and want me to talk more about it, again, just a little insight into the crazy head that I have. And greetings from Edmonton, Canada. I am here doing a series of classes, the Right Body for You 2.5-day workshop, and then the Right Body for You Taster Facilitator training, and then the Right Body for You Spotlight Facilitator training, and then tomorrow I do the Access Consciousness Facelift class, and then the day after that is the 3-day Access Consciousness Body class. Woo-woo! We're calling it the Edmonton Body Celebration. And we're having a ton of fun. It's always fun to see people choose more, step into enjoying their body and asking questions. And, that's one of the things I love. I spent a lot of my life ignoring my body, hating the fact that I had a body, judging everything I did, everything I ate, everything I was, everything I wasn't, everything I was wearing, everything I wasn't wearing. I mean, the men I attracted, the men I didn't attract. The list goes on and on and on and on. And unfortunately, I know I shared that list with a lot of people, that they had that. I wish I could say we never judged us or our bodies. And I know a lot of how people function, because I used to function 100% from that. I do have days where it's better, which is what this is all about. I judge myself and my body so much less than I used to. And I mean so much less, like probably 90% less than I used to, which is pretty damn exciting. And for me, the journey took me to Access Consciousness and Right Body for You, which is what this radio show is called. Hello. But it's Right Body for You is a division of Access Consciousness. It's the Access Consciousness tools focused on the body. And then from there, Right Body for You is also a book, which I get to be a major contributor of that, and I'm very excited. And then it's also the 2.5-day workshops all over the world that I get to facilitate. Like this weekend I'm in Canada, next weekend I'm in Rome. And then after that I'll be in Australia. There's the A word. And it's fun to see people shift and change, including myself. That's one of the things I love about the work I do, is that I get to shift and change each class, each prep session, each radio show as well. My body has changed. My body has changed a lot. People always think that the change is only one way. You lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, or heal, don't heal. And there's only acceptable variation, acceptable one way or one direction to go. And one thing I've discovered is your body is in constant creation. Your body is constantly creating, and yet we ask our body to stop and stay in this particular area. It's like, oh, I got to be this size, stay. I got to be this health level, stay. I got to be able to lift this much weight, stay. We're always trying to keep our body from changing, from evolving. And it doesn't actually work simply because, well, you know what? Our body is always creating. And with that creation, it shifts and changes. And what's interesting with that is one of those things that can or cannot affect the body a whole lot is food, okay? And so that's what we're kind of talking about today. It's acceptable eating behaviors. And this one I know is going to bring up a lot. It hopefully will give you some insight and awareness, and I know it's going to actually piss off some people. And not necessarily piss off at me, but just there's a certain energy, because, everything we do with Access Consciousness and Right Body for You, we're talking about this energy of stuff, the energy behind everything. And we're using that energy to shift, change, and create differences. Well, with this, there's just a palpable energy that you can just tap into whenever we have this kind of conversation. And then from that kind of energy, people can get frustrated and upset. It's almost like there's a universal annoyance just right off the bat when talking about foods and bodies. Okay. And so with the, one of the major ways we go about changing our bodies is to watch, monitor, and gauge our eating habits. It's also one of the ways we most judge us and our bodies by. In addition to the judgment that brings up, my questions are, who designed the acceptable eating behaviors? Where did we agree to it? That there are like if you're having tacos for dinner, you can have 2 tacos, but not 4, because 2 tacos is the acceptable amount, and yet 4 tacos is too much. And if you do 1, you're even better, because 2, you're just medium, you're just normal, you're just like everybody else, right? And then 1 is even better. And I have a lot of people go, I had 1 taco. It was the size of my head, but it was 1 taco. Because we seem to try to find these loopholes and things like that go, to make it acceptable. Or when we report back to those unseen things or people that we always seem to report back to, we can report, how many tacos did you eat? 1. And then we start making excuses. It's like, well, how many tacos did you eat? I ate 4, but they were really small, so they really only equaled 2. So we always seem to have these quick little reasons and justifications, these quick little excuses, these quick little, no, this is why, just, no. This is it. So it's like, where the freak did all of this come from? And I know some people will simply want to say, like, oh, well, it was the standardized diet, all the scientists and dietitians and got together and said, this is how much the body should and shouldn't eat. This is what's acceptable and this is what's not acceptable. Well, I think it's kind of funny. Some of the foods I have seen on the acceptable diet list in various countries, I wouldn't eat. My body's like, no, doesn't want that. It has different types of foods. Like, I think I even saw Pediasure on there one time, which is a mother's milk substitute. And I'm like, why is that on the standardized diet? And here's the other thing. Standardized is simply meaning average. It's a, if we go to statistics, and sorry, everything statistics is bringing up, but if you go to statistics, it's where you take an average of everything, the highs, the lows, you throw those out, and then you add the rest, and then create a medium number, which is the middle. So when we're talking about a standardized, it is the median middle. And standardized doesn't mean it works for everybody or every body. Because last time I checked, and I check frequently, just so you know, and because, I open my eyes and walk around in the world, and just, you guys check frequently as well. Nobody has the same type of body, Like my mother was 4'9" tall, right? Not very tall. And it used to be that in medical practices, it has changed, but it used to be they would give the same kind of radiation or chemo amount, the standardized, this is what it's supposed to be, amount for somebody who, like my mother, was 4'9", 98 pounds, or a 6'1", 250-pound man. And it was like they would receive the same amount of chemotherapy and radiation. It's like, what? How are these standard types of things actually supposed to work when bodies themselves are so different? Which is where, honestly, as I say, talking to your body really comes in. Because what might work for my body doesn't always work for somebody else's body, and vice versa. Like I'm up here in Canada this week, and they have Lay's has something called ketchup potato chips. People love them. My body can't think of much else that would be more repulsive. And so it's like, no, we're not eating that. and that's just, that's just a silly example, but it is going to how you have to look at, you have to look out at the, what works for your body and what doesn't work for your body. Okay. And here's the other funny thing. In the USA, it's the Standard American Diet, which we like our acronyms, right? So if we look at Standard American Diet, what is that? SAD. What is that? Oh, yeah, it's sad. That's just so sad. That's the Standard American Diet, which I just find really funny, which, one of my mother's big rants that she used to have is how we don't actually eat real food anymore. And what she means by that is, things are so processed and pasteurized and all that kind of stuff. And like wheat is grown differently and wow, it's a good thing I talk for a living. I can't think of the word. It's grown differently, it's processed differently, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so she would always say, we don't actually eat real food anymore. Like I used to joke that Mexican, or because I love Mexican food. And then one day I was like, I can't eat Mexican food. I've had it too often. And then we ended up at Taco Bell because it was the only thing open, right, at like 11 o'clock at night. My friend was like, I thought you didn't want Mexican food. I'm like, this isn't real Mexican food. It's, it's not even real beans if you get down to it, which, by the way, it's not. But don't get me wrong. I love me some Taco Bell. That's not the point. But and it's funny because somebody in the chat room said, don't even get us on GMO, right? Which it is kind of funny. Genetically modified food is what this is standing for. And again, this is where you really, 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 really want to be in communion with your body and ask your body what works for you and doesn't work for you. Because, you don't, food is food, and some food is considered more real food than the other. And it's like, but here's the thing. If you take everything on face value, like GMO, is it GMO? Is it a genetically modified food? Then I'm not eating it. Well, there's actually a high percentage of the world who's eating some genetically modified food that you don't know is genetically modified. So you tend to cut off your awareness if it has a certain label. And what I mean by that is, anybody else like broccoli? I love broccoli. Broccoli is one of the most favorite veggies out there in the world, right? Well, did you know that broccoli is man-made? I'm not even kidding or joking a little bit. You can look it up. It was created by the broccoli family, who did a cross between cauliflower and asparagus and created broccoli. So technically broccoli is a genetically modified food. Wait a minute. So if we're going around saying all GMOs are bad, then by definition, we must all be throw out things like broccoli. Yeah, and somebody in the chat room just said a seed can be GMO and still be grown or organically grown. Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. This is where question comes in, communication, talking to your body, because then oftentimes we have less of a judgment about food, and when we have less of a judgment about food, we can actually receive more from the food, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that later, about judgment and if it's affecting food or not affecting food and what that does to your body. Somebody in the chat room was like, yay, now I can refuse broccoli. Oh, honey, put cheese on it. Anything's good with cheese on it. Just kidding. Or just don't steam it way too much. See, because my body's a big texture thing. And so it's like if something's steamed, like broccoli is steamed, it has a like weird texture to it that I just don't like. But you stir fry it a little bit, I love it. I love broccoli. It's one of my favorite veggies to eat. Up there with Brussels sprouts. Who knew? It's one of those crazy things where you ask your body, what would you like to eat? And it said Brussels sprouts. And I'm like, really? Are you freaking kidding me? Because, my whole life I had been told this point of view that Brussels sprouts were gross and, just avoid it and eat funny vegetables like broccoli and carrots, and things like that. And then this whole silly thing about asking your body, what would you like to eat? And it said Brussels sprouts. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And I have been in love with Brussels sprouts ever since. And the chat room was going crazy. If you guys have never been on the chat room, please do join us sometime. Go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and then go up into the top. It says chat room. Just click on it, put in your name, and join the chat room. They're talking about broccoli with ketchup and loving me some Brussels sprouts and having some fun. And all right, so yes, we're talking about Brussels sprouts are good, but not the name. There you go. These are some of the heavy-hitting topics going on in the chat room, but we do usually have fun, so please do join us. All right, we're going to take a quick little break. When we can come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what actually shows up and what we create when we're doing the acceptable eating behaviors, what goes on, what it creates, and what we can actually do to change it, okay? This is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle, and I do invite you to check out my website, Donnielle.com, Donnielle. There are lots of fun things on there. There are full-length is in 2 hours, Right Body for You intro video classes that I've done, and they are free to watch. Check them out, kind of see what some of this Right Body for You and verbal access consciousness, verbal processing is all about. SoundClouds, archived radio shows, links to other yum goodies. In the product page, you have past classes, telecalls from single telecalls to 30 days of telecalls and everything in between. There's a lot of fun information on there. And you can also find out about classes and private sessions. It's a great place to hook up on private sessions. As I'm here in Canada, I've been doing a lot of private sessions, and it's so much fun. I love working one-on-one with people, helping them get down into some of the nitty-gritty of places where they're looking and asking for change in their life. But you can also find out about the upcoming classes. Like this weekend is the 3-day the 3-day Access Consciousness body class, which there is still plenty of time to join. Tomorrow is the face of the class. After that is Access Consciousness 3-day body class. Talk about nurturing for your body. Spend 3 days giving and receiving all of the hands-on body processes that Access Consciousness has, and it's just so freaking yummy. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's in Edmonton, Canada. And then after that, I will be in Rome, Italy. Literally, like next weekend, I will be in Rome, Italy, facilitating the Right Body for You 2.5-day workshop. And then after that, I'll be in Perth, Australia, facilitating the Access Consciousness 3-day body class. And then after that, it will be in Brisbane, Australia, doing the Right Body for You workshop. Then Vienna and London, and then Vienna, or back to Vienna, and then Kansas City 3-day body class is after Perth. So there's lots of fun things. And then in September, we're doing the first ever Right Body for You Tools in Action. We are taking the manual from the Right Body for You workshop and putting it into active everyday life. We're bringing it to life. And so it's not a classroom, it's a life. We're going to be out hanging out in the French Quarter in New Orleans, doing a bunch of fun things, changing things, shifting things, getting depth to the Right Body for You tools like you've never had before. Rome is next weekend, the June 2nd, 3rd, 4th, I believe. Somebody in the chat room said, when is Rome? Come play in Rome, Roma. We love Rome. And of course it'll be translated because I speak sarcasm and energy. I do not speak Italian in this 10 seconds. So do come join us. We have a lot of fun. And one of the things we do talk about in the Right Body for You classes are acceptable eating behaviors and eating and food and listening to your body. Okay. Like it was really interesting. The subject came up because one day I was at my house and I didn't have a lot of food because when you're home for 36 hours, you tend not to have food in your house, right? If you're home for 36 hours in a month. And so all I had was a bag of chips. And I'm not talking like one of those big bag of chips that look there even I'm doing a disclaim. But it was, just a regular sized bag of chips. And that's all I had to eat that day. I had a Coke, I had a bag of chips, and a bunch of water. And at the end of the day, I actually stopped and looked at that. I went, oh my gosh, I had nothing but a bag of chips to eat today. How horrible is that? And then I'm like, wait a minute. I had basically what equates to 2 handfuls of chips, and that's all the food I ate that day. So I really started looking at those acceptable eating behaviors because it's like on the surface, I had a bag of chips. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you ate a whole bag in one day, you little oinker, right? But the disclaimer of like, wait a minute. It was one of the small bags and it really just equals 2 handfuls. I'm like, wow, we have these cycles that go on and on and on. And then the funny part is nobody was there. Nobody was saw. Nobody was even asking me. And yet I'm standing there in the kitchen going, oh my gosh, I ate a bag of chips. I'm so horrible. It's like, who are we even reporting to? And anybody else done this? Like in America, we have Thanksgiving with a bunch of pies. I know they do in Canada. And I don't think they have Thanksgiving in other countries, but you see where I'm getting with this. Anyways, one of the time-honored traditions of after Thanksgiving is pie for breakfast the next day because we have all this leftover pie. And so it's funny because almost seems to be with it where we go, yep, I'm having pie for breakfast. And it's like a challenge. It's like, who are we challenging? Who are we actually looking at? Who are we going, I am going against what you think. I am doing my own thing and I am making no excuses for it except the fact that I'm saying it like this to you. open air kitchen where I'm all alone and in this defiance tone, it automatically means I'm arguing with you, which is really damn funny how we end up doing these things. And so it's like, who are we talking to? Who are we not talking to? Where have we decided this? Where have we chosen? And how much have we actually already agreed to it? You know, I mean, because trust me, people are going, you had 4 tacos? You had 4 tacos. I can't believe you had 4 tacos instead of 2 tacos. You know, what are you trying to get fat? Oh, you're going to get fat if you keep eating that. Or you're going to get sick because it's not real food. Or, you're going to pay for that later, one way or the other. Trust me, before all the countries started standardizing their diets, that was there. So everywhere we were the creator of it, enforcer of it, buyer or seller, or the one to go, yes, 2 tacos is enough. Would you be willing to try and upgrade that? Cool, right? Because that's a buck of nitrous, boys and men. And what's funny is I can envision somebody a million years ago going, oh, I can't eat any more 2 tacos. I'm so full, because they were full. And then the person next to him going, I just had my 3rd taco. I'm not full. Oh, well, I'm wrong. If she's full at 2, I should have been full at 2. Oh, crap. And then, you know, it perpetuates the cycle from there. You know, we're, you know, a million years later, we're still hearing that same thought of, oh, if they were full with 2, I should have been full with 2. Right? I mean, I know it sounds insane, but how often can that actually show up that way? Interesting, says now I'm hungry. I know, right? Hey, I had chips for breakfast. This is what happens when sometimes you're sitting in a hotel and the only thing you have are goodies for class. I had chips for breakfast, not the ketchup chips. I moved those aside and went, no, I'm not going to eat those. But we have these things, and what actually occurs is we have this judgment come up. Because really, when we're standing in the kitchen making excuses to the open air going, I'm having 4 tacos, screw you. Yeah, I mean, we're rebelling against an idea, a judgment, a thought. But what's interesting is we're actually using judgment to enforce that, or to rebel it, or to say that we're choosing something different, when we're actually really using judgment. And then the problem with that is then the judgment can actually change and shift how our body receives and perceives the food. Okay, it's really interesting the things that occur when we're eating food through judgment, because that's really what it's all about, is we're judging ourselves. And so when we're standing there in the kitchen, you know, defying that idea and that judgment and that unseen viewing audience in our kitchen and houses that we're always reporting who we eat to, who we're actually doing it to is ourselves. And it's our judgment of the food that we may have bought it from somebody else, yes, but we're functioning from it at that time, of the food, the quantity, the amount that is actually creating the limitation in our lives, that is actually creating the problem, that is actually creating angst, upset, nauseous, and weight, and disease, anything like that actually in your body. So that's the good news and the bad news, because the good news is you created it and you can change it. The bad news is you created it and you can change it. Yes, I said the same thing, because some people hear that and go, oh, good, then I have the power to change it. And other people go, oh, crap, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Well, I can't change it. And I'm like, no, you can. They're like, no, I can't. So what we're going to do is when we come back, I'm going to give you a few tips, or we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks about how to actually shift some of this self-judgment cycle that we go through with these acceptable eating habits, okay? All right, this is Donnielle. You are listening to Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Thank you for listening today, in the past, in the present, or the future. Okay, so today we're talking about acceptable eating behavior patterns or whatever that is. And not from I'm not giving you a list of acceptable eating behaviors. I'm actually helping you to look at the places and spaces where you're eating from what somebody else told you instead of what your body actually told you, okay? And it's rampant. You know, it's really interesting. Even in restaurants now, they will put the calories. Because, you know, that's one of the favorite things to do is to really watch the calories. I am, because as well as the standardized diet, besides the foods you can eat, you also have calories of how much you should or shouldn't eat. And so you go into freaking Taco Bell now, and there's a calorie thing. You go into restaurants, and on the menu, there's a little calorie thing. So it's like, where else do we, sorry, that was me hitting my elbow on the desk. So where else can we go with this? What else is possible? Okay. Well, one of the, I've talked about it before, and we can always give you a recording, or if you listen to the archives, I talk a lot about communicating with the body and listening to your body and having it tell you where you would like, what it would like to eat, because who eats? You or your body. Because so really you have to have that, the communication with your body is paramount to listening to what your body has to say about what it wants to eat. Because you do need to take into consideration what your body wants to eat, because it's the one that eats, right? I just mentioned that. It's the one that eats, not you, the infinite being. I know we always love to say, oh, what would I like to eat? Or I love this, or don't love this. And whenever we say I phrases like that, we're actually talking about the infinite being and not the body. And so in Right Body for You workshops and classes, we talk a lot about asking the body, because, your body has a consciousness of its own. Do plants and animals have a consciousness? Yes. Does the earth have a consciousness? Yes, absolutely. And we're more ready and willing to acknowledge that kind of thing than we are that our body has a consciousness of its own, which I find very, very funny. Now, before I'd be like, what do you mean my body has a consciousness of its own? What the freak are you talking about? Well, what the freak we're talking about is like, look at it just a very scientific level. If the earth has a consciousness of its own, and our body is made up of similar elements and things from the earth, then why wouldn't it also have a consciousness of its own? Okay. And so what it does is it has an indication of what it would like to eat. Okay. It does, because it knows it's just as hedonistic as we, the infinite being, are. And so it would know what it likes to taste, what it requires, okay? Because your body requires sugar, salt, and water. That's about as standardized as my diet gets, or anybody I suggest in Access Consciousness or Right Body for You, is sugar, salt, water, in whatever form your body requires it. You know, sometimes my body requires sugar, salt, water with like grapes as a sugar, salt, cheese, you know, various things. And so it's like if you're willing to talk to your body about sugar, salt, water, and asking it what it requires, this is one of those places where that first step of getting rid of those what we think about is acceptable eating behaviors, okay? Because what happens if we have aligned and agreed, meaning we've made it the only choice and the only possibility. If we have aligned and agreed that 2 tacos is the correct amount of food to eat when you have a taco meal, because, you know, who is not having a taco meal, right? And so if you have if you have the point of view that 2 tacos are the acceptable amount to eat, and you ask your body, or even if you're not asking your body, but you eat a 3rd taco, you automatically start going into self-flagellation. And unfortunately, a lot of places that self-flagellation goes to is your body, okay? And then from there, it gets into this is going to make me fat. Well, your body's listening. And so the second you say something like, I ate a 3rd taco, I'm going to gain weight. Whether you say it out loud or not, you can even just do it energetically in your head, because guess what? Your body hears it energetically. Right? And so your body goes, getting fatter. I can do that. That's not a problem. Or, I'm going to be so sick after I eat this whole cupcake because it's so sweet. So guess what happens? After you eat the whole cupcake, you get sick. So it's amazing the things that start to occur if you watch. Often it occurs because you said it. You disclaimed it. You said it was. And oftentimes it's because of reaction of these standardized things that we've been taught somewhere. So one of the things I suggest doing is, like, if you go into restaurants that have calories on the menu or things like that, I literally cover it up. Or I won't even look, I'm not looking, but just cover it up like it's not there. Not because in defiance, just because if you're reacting to it, remove the thing you're reacting to, so you can actually look at the words and ask your body, what would you like to eat? Body, what would you like to eat? Body, would you like to eat? And go from there, okay? And then that is one of the great places to start. I know it seems just silly, but it's like, if you're having a reaction, remove the thing you're reacting to, and it could be as simple as covering up the calories on the menu. And then everywhere you've aligned and agreed, resisted, and reacted that it is only one acceptable way of eating, or counting calories is the only way to change your body, would you be willing to destroy it and create that, please? Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, black, and nice, shorts, boys, and mountains. Which is an example of the Access Consciousness verbal processing, which you can go to theclearingstatement.com to find out more about that, okay? And then one of my favorite tools I'm going to give you right now is, truth, do I have any judgment about this food, whether it's quantity, quality, amount, if it's if it's the chocolate cake or if it's because it's chips or whatever it is. Truth, do I have any judgment of this food before you take your first bite? See, because what you're going to want to do is, well, what happens is you ask your body, what would you like to eat? And it says, oh, I want a cupcake. And you're like, what? Your body's like, hey, I'm requiring sugar, and that cupcake looks really good. So cupcake, please. And if you have any judgment of the food at all, your body was requiring the sugar from the cupcake, but we have judgment of the sugar, of receiving the sugar from the cupcake because, oh, cupcakes are going to make us fat, or if it tastes good, it's not good for you, and, you know, all those fun, crazy points of view that we like to function from, okay? And so when we do that, we're like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's a bad way to eat sugar. That's a bad way to receive sugar. And so we're like, hey, but our body said it was okay. But the problem is energetically we're not willing to receive that. Energetically, we still go into judgment of it. So the judgment can actually negate what you can receive, what your body will receive, sugar from that cupcake, because we have the point of view that it has to be acceptable sugar, whatever that is, okay? And so we get into this place where we can actually negate what our body is asking for from the cupcake because we have a judgment of it. And then we eat it and we go, oh, I'm going to be fat, I'm going to be sick. No, it's okay because my body said it was okay. And then we still get fat and sick and we're like, see, I can't communicate with my body, or see, it is the cupcake's fault. See, there is something that says a goodness or a badness instead of just eating what your body requires. Because one thing I can tell you right now, if you eat what your body asks for, when it asks for it, in the amount that it asks for it, and you don't have any judgment of amount or when or what, your body can actually do pretty dang well just on its own as it is. Because then you're giving your body what it wants, when it wants, how it wants it without the judgment. But what most of us do is we have a food with a side of judgment. And then, yes, let me say it again. Your judgment can actually negate how your body receives the food, okay? And here's the caveat to this. People go, well, it's still getting the sugar from the cupcake, so, right? Well, yes and no. Because while the sugar may be coming into your body from the cupcake, you can actually negate your body receiving the benefit from it that it was asking for, and with the judgment. And so when you have the judgment of it, it can actually, and you negate your body receiving what it requires, your body's not sated. And then your body's going, thanks for the cupcake. I still need sugar, okay? And so what we do is the infinite being going, oh, see, I need more sugar, so we eat the second cupcake or what it is, and then more judgment. So if you try this, do I have any judgments of the food? Before you take your first bite, you ask your body, would you like to eat? It says cupcake. And you're like, okay, cool. Before you take a first bite, truth, do I have any judgment about this? And then POD/POC, using the Access Consciousness Verbal Processing. POD/POC, anything and everything that comes up. Destroy and uncreate it, right, wrong, good, bad, block, and shorts, boys, and beyond. And then do it again and again and again and again until you have no judgment, or at least less judgment. And then eat the food. Trust me, it'll actually taste different because you're receiving the energy as well as the physicalness of the thing, like the cupcake that you were rejecting a second ago, okay? And then you want to ask body, would you like another bite? Body, would you like another bite? Body, would you like another bite? And then when you're doing this, you're really tapping into what you and your body desires to eat instead of what society has told us is the acceptable amount and the way it is, okay? We're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the sugar, salt, water, okay? This is Donnielle. You're listening to Right Body for You on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
The life and the body you secretly hope for is possible. Somewhere you know that, right? What if creating that body and life is not about deprivation and sacrifice? Would you be willing to choose it? What if it could be as simple as changing how you look at things? Right Body for You with Donnielle is a different kind of radio show. Each week, Donnielle invites you to you. She shares simple tools that you can use immediately to create changes in your body and your life. Something different begins now. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. If you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back to Right Body for You, reading in the chat room, and we do have a couple of questions. What is, if we are separate and have communion, why do I have to ask it in a way that makes it separate, her body, right, what it would like to eat, that makes it, body, what do you want to eat versus body, what would we like to eat today? Excellent question, and it's not that we're creating a sense of separation. For the first time, we're actually acknowledging the consciousness of the body and including the body in the food intake process simply because it's the one eating. I have yet to see an infinite being eat food. I've seen a body eat, but I've not seen an infinite being eat. So when we're addressing the body, what would you like to eat, we're actually for the first time asking it instead of assuming what we do, what we, the infinite being, think it should be. So we actually ask it out of an honoring of the body and an inclusion of the body in a way that we never did before. So yes, we're addressing body, what would you like to eat? But it's from that honoring inclusion place instead of that separation that we usually do. Because usually we never take into account what the body wants to eat. It's just like body, or what would I like to eat? What would I like to eat? Instead of the body who's actually the one eating, okay? So I think that's for me, that's a lot of fun. Okay, so sugar, salt, water. This is about as standardized and the acceptable eating behavior. That's about all I ever do. And for me, it changes every day and every moment. Because, I know a lot of people hear sugar, salt, water, and they go to potato chips, candy bars. And while that can be a way to get your salt and your sugar if your body is requiring it at the time, please don't assume if your body wanted it yesterday, it wants it today, or that it wants it in the same country. Okay, it's different versus different countries. Food is made different, processed different. Like earlier we were joking about the GMO, but food is processed differently in different countries. Like when I'm in the United States or North America or most countries other than Italy, let's say that, I don't often crave Italian food, okay? But when I'm in Italy, my body's like, oh, Italian food. And because there's something there with the energy of it and the way they make the Italian food and pasta that my body just loves. So you also want to look at countries, and just because it was way yesterday doesn't mean it was that way today. And one of my body's favorite ways to get sugar or salt in one sitting is crackers and cheese and crackers, right? Because if you look at it, body will process crackers as a sugar, and then your body can process the cheese as salt. Okay, so that is salt and sugar. So when you're willing to ask your body what it would like, it can actually open you up to various different ways it can receive this. You know, I had my body one summer eating a ton of watermelon because it loved how the liquid it got from it. You know, yes, it also had a sugar to it, obviously, but it also loved the liquid that came with it. And so you really do want to start looking at these acceptable eating behaviors and go, first of all, to start uncreate anywhere I made these or created them or agreed to them. And then really, body, what would you like to eat? Body, what would you like to eat? Bodies, what would you like to eat? Yeah, exactly. Somebody said in the chat room, also important is the attitude the food is prepared with. Italians love their food. Exactly. So I was saying the energy of it, because it is different. In different countries, even candy is different. Soda is different. You know, like here, even in Canada, the Cokes are tasting different. And so how much fun can you have with that? Okay. So check it out. Check out the archives. I've talked a lot about listening to your body, communicating with your body. It's at the basis of a lot. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the next book out, is just communicating and being in communion with your body. So that's a lot of fun because you get information from about everything, not just the food. It's just the one place that we tend to judge ourselves the most. And please do use the tools and see if you can end some of that judgment about yourself, really, about the food you eat, how you eat it, the quantity you eat, or anything like that, okay? Everything can shift and change. And if you would like some in-depth experience, I do invite you to join us in New Orleans in September. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. We're taking tours. We are going to some nice restaurants. We're going to go to a park. We're going to take the tools that I talk about on the show all the time, or in my workshops all the time, and bring them to everyday life, really in depth. And I'll get to be there with you to help PodPocker get clarity, which is really what this is all about. Is like, even in this last class this weekend in Right Body for You, somebody's like, can I just take you with me? I wish I could just keep you with me in my pocket. And this is where this idea was actually born from. Well, so I could be there to share this with you, okay? You do need to do a workshop first. That is the prereq, because you need the tools, because we're going to use the tools, okay? So it is a prereq, which you can join me in Rome next weekend, Brisbane after that, Vienna, London. There's a number of places that you can join us for Right Body for You workshop. And if you're in the mood and want to come to Edmonton, Canada, and join me for the 3-day body class this weekend, do that. There are some more prereqs with that. We can find out all that information on my website, Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com. You can check out, like I said, some SoundCloud clips, some past radio shows as well, including video classes about Right Body for You that gives you some real basic introductory tools that you can begin to use immediately for creating and generating your life and your body and listening to it and changing things and healing and losing weight or anything and more. Because that's the thing about Right Body for You. It's about the creation of your life with the contribution of your body. A lot of people think that, oh, you change your body first and then your life changes. Well, oftentimes you change your life, then your body changes. And Right Body for You is really the introduction and invitation to that, okay? So check it out, Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com. If you want a private session, that's a great place to go to. So make it a fun week, a happy week. Be back here next week, because guess what? I will be. And until then, everyone, please always have fun, and I'll hug you around the world. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you and your body will join us. Until then, have fun.